Hello YouTube, Wes here checking in from the beautiful Morningside Nature Center here in my hometown of Gainesville, Florida. Today we're talking about another lens, another Canon crop sensor lens. This is one of the two options you will generally have as a kit lens for Canon crop sensor cameras. Those are going to be your T3i, T6i, T5i, your 70D, 60D, 80D, those kind of cameras. Generally your entry-level crop sensor Canon cameras. This is the EF-S 18 to 135 millimeter STM lens. This lens, as it says, it goes from 18 to 135 millimeters. In full frame term, that's about 26 to about 180 millimeters, somewhere in that range. So it gives you a pretty good zoom range for a kit lens. This lens does have image stabilization, and this lens also features the STM silent stepper motor technology focusing system, which is a really nice, quiet, smooth system that really is very responsive, works really well. So let's talk about the two Canon crop sensor kit lenses that you can choose to order with your camera. So you have the 18 to 55 millimeter option, or this 18 to 135 millimeter option. As far as this 18 to 135 millimeter option, they have an even newer version now that goes back to a USM, and they're calling it a nano USM focusing system. It's even faster than this STM motor as far as focusing, but it still remains very quiet, so it's really good for focusing in video. They both have image stabilized features on them, so that's a really nice feature. So let's talk about the two different lenses, the 18 to 55 versus the 18 to 135. The 18 to 55 lens, I did have that in my hands briefly when I first ordered my Canon 70D. I ended up taking that lens and selling it with my T4i that I was upgrading from. So I put those two together so I could keep this 18 to 135 that I originally got when I got my T4i. Because I wanted to hold on to this lens, because while the 18 to 55 is a slightly sharper lens, I feel like it has less of a usability to it. This 18 to 135 is really versatile. You got a nice wide angle at 18 millimeters, and you can get sort of a pretty decent telephoto ability at the 135 millimeter range. So if you're just taking one lens with you, you can take this lens with you, and you know you're going to have a pretty wide range of focal lengths to work with, and that's really useful with this lens. This lens is quite a bit heavier than the 18 to 55 lens, so you will want to keep that in mind. It also does feature a metal mount versus the plastic mount that's on the 18 to 55 lens, so that's a little bit of a nicer upgrade. This being a heavier lens, I guess they thought they would put a metal mount on it. So let's talk about the two lenses as far as which one you should choose if you're just now getting into photography, if you're getting your first DSLR and you're trying to decide, do I want the 18 to 55 or do I want the 18 to 135? I would say the 18 to 55 is the choice for somebody who expects to be buying more lenses pretty soon. You know, they're wanting to try out a lot of lenses. You're going to have some money in your budget left over to buy a few extra lenses to work with. That's going to be for that type of person. Whereas this 18 to 135, this lens is going to last for a while for you. It's going to give you, as I said, a lot of ability to work with different focal lengths. My first year with the DSLR, this was the only lens I had. Everywhere I went shooting, I had this one lens, and that's all I had to work with. It gave me a feel for the different focal lengths. It gave me a feel for what I need in a lens, what I want to look for as I start buying extra lenses. So this lens really lasted a long time for me as far as usability. I didn't feel like I had to immediately start buying more lenses when I first got my first DSLR. So if this is a big investment for you and you're just starting out and you don't want to have to buy more lenses immediately after getting your camera, I would suggest going with the 18 to 135, whether it's this STM version or the nano USM version. Either one, whichever one you think is best for you. The prices are the same. Go ahead and go with the new Nano USM one. If you can save a good bit of money on this STM version, I would say go with that one. It's going to work really well for you. It produces some great images. I've made some great images with this lens. No regrets at all with this lens. You know, has the nice Image stabilization, as I said, that really helps get a steady shot even at slower shutter speeds. When you're just starting out, you're not really thinking always about shutter speeds and where you should be at, so that can help you out in that respect. And overall, it's just a really good solid lens, works really well, and it'll last a long time for you. So I'm going to go ahead now and roll some sample shots that I've made with this lens over the past 3.5, 4 years now, and let you see what you think of these images, and let you see if this is going to be the lens for you. So those are my thoughts on the 18 to 55 versus the 18 to 135. The 18 to 55, as I said, it's going to be a slightly sharper lens, slightly less as far as the build quality. It just feels really cheap in the hands. It's sort of rattly. It has that plastic mount. If you think you're going to have the budget to immediately be upgrading lenses within a few months from getting your camera, then go ahead and go with the 18 to 55. Otherwise, I would definitely suggest going with this 18 to 135. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those sample images from the 18 to 135 STM lens by Canon. Definitely a recommended lens for me if you're just starting out. As I said, this is a lens you can just work with for a year or more without having to buy any more lenses. Just learn the craft, learn photography, learn your settings, learn your camera, and just get used to it. And this lens will give you the focal lengths you need to really get things done. So thanks for watching this episode of Beer Geek Photography. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments or questions down below about anything you have. Always here to help. I'm passionate about photography, and I hope to share that passion with all of you. Thank you for watching this review. Have a great day, great night, whenever it is you're watching this, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.